Well, so folks, I'm Terry Goodin. I'm the lieutenant governor candidate on the Democratic ticket in the great state of Indiana, and I am proud to be able to say that I am from Scott County, Indiana. Folks, I worked with the USDA. Okay, let me take a step back. I'm not the sheriff. Okay, so you folks that don't know me, I'm not the sheriff. So I've worked for 2.5 years at the USDA and traveled around the state of Indiana, folks, and there seems to be a common theme or common thread amongst our state in areas that seem to be outside of the donut area, which would be considered Indianapolis and its rural areas, areas like where we live. And it seemed to be that areas in our hemisphere, if you want to call it that, seem to be kind of lagging behind other areas of the state. And in our debate day before yesterday, where we I debated the lieutenant governor candidates from the other parties. The party that has been in charge for 20 years, their lieutenant governor candidate admitted that the state of Indiana was in the business of picking winners and losers. All right? You hear me? The state of Indiana currently and for the last 20 years has been in the business of picking winners and losers. Folks, a Jennifer McCormick and Terry Goodin ticket will guarantee you we will not pick winners and losers across the state of Indiana. We will treat everyone equal and we'll give everyone the opportunity to be able to succeed in our great state. So as we traveled around, there seemed to be some serious issues going on. Number one, there's a housing crisis going on. We know that, right? There's a educational crisis going on. We know that, right? There is a healthcare crisis going on in our state. And now just recently, there is a huge property tax crisis that's going on in our state. Folks, let me tell you something. One party has been in control of this state for the last 20 years. They got to own it. They got to buy it. They created the crisis here, okay? Now it's time to get some folks in there that can fix it and get it back on the right track. What do you think? So, you know, as I traveled the state, I talked to a lot of Hoosiers, and it was pretty simple. They just said, hey, Terry, we just want the opportunity to get a good job so we can raise our families with dignity. We want our children to be able to have a brighter future than what we've had. And we want to make sure that those folks that represent us don't embarrass us in front of the world. And we also want to guarantee that those people who get elected to office follow the same rules, guidelines, and regulations, laws that we follow as citizens. So, with that, folks, I'm going to say this. Jennifer McCormick, strong lady, former school superintendent, former superintendent of public instruction for the state of Indiana. We've been traveling around the state. As a matter of fact, I usually walk around these tables and around the walls and bug everybody when I'm here, but I apologize. I've got to get to Bloomington here in just a little bit. But we've been running all over the state, and I tell you what, there's a real excitement in the air, folks. There's a real movement going on. People are ready for a change in the great state of Indiana, folks, and they're telling us they're going to get it done this election cycle. So, folks, we've got a great group of House candidates here, all right? State House candidates. We've got congressional candidate over here. Let me tell you folks something. My grandpa, he always said this, and some of you folks may remember him, but he always said, Terry, he said, just remember something. He said, if you're not at the table, that means you're probably on the menu. All right? So let me tell you folks something right now. Rural Indiana, southern Indiana has not been at the table. We've been on the menu, and these folks that's going to represent us at the State House is going to make sure we've got a full front seat at the table. Let's give these folks a great big hand for running.